Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Grain Therapy, the podcast where we saw through the knots of life one plank at a time. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're diving deep into the world of woodworking, sawdust, and maybe a splinter or two. Ha ha ha. But before we get started, let me tell you a little joke. Why did the woodworker break up with their partner? Because they were bored. All right. I promise the woodworking tips will be better than my jokes. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting to carve out your passion for woodworking, grab your chisels, pull up a chair, and let's sand the stress away together. Stay tuned. So that was
Nice.
ChatGPT's first attempt at an intro for our podcast.
Okay.
I said to include a joke, and it told me to laugh. So I'm sorry for the awkward laugh there. But I like just seeing this in here. So we only have 11 right now. We only have 11 episodes live, but the final sentence of this kind of had the same meter as we normally do our intros. So we do so sit back and watch, listen while you work, or put us on in the background. Either way, we hope you enjoy. I think that's our intro.
Mm-hmm.
But this one ended. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting to carve out your passion for woodworking, grab your chisels, pull up a chair, and let's sand away the stress together. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
ChatGPT is freaking me out a little bit right now.
That's a funny way to start this. Nice work.
Now, do you think we still do the original intro and then run right into this, or for this one,
I think you just let this one go. Yeah, you just let this one hit. That was great.
For everybody listening, I did not plan that. Bryan did not know I was about to do that, so that's why we had the awkward moment of me trying to laugh at my own joke here. But ChatGPT holds up sometimes. It does some work.
Yeah. So how have you used it before?
I've barely used it, honestly. I use it for fun more than anything. I know some people use it for work and their jobs and stuff. I've tried to get some ideas from it, but at the end of the day, I think they're ideas that are already out there. So I try to find them on my own and stumble upon them rather than asking AI a lot of times for business stuff. At least I'll probably end up using it more in the future, but I've used it to be like write a poem in the style of William or Eminem or like a rap in William Shakespeare's meter with something. I try to put together something funny and then see what happens because it's impressive.
Yeah, that's super cool. So I think I've got a friend who's like really, really obsessed with it and just like loves the idea, loves the concept, wants to try to figure out how he can like break into a market and use it for some of his own creative stuff. And yeah, he talks about like, I haven't tried it. I haven't used it very much yet, but he's been trying to convince me to try it out for like social media because he knows that I struggle like writing prompts. It's like usually I got the pictures I want. I get there, blank out, don't know what to write all the time. He's like, you can just like feed it your old posts, like what you've written, and then ask it to like write something in your voice. And like, if that's true and that works, that's amazing. But yeah, I haven't yet like tried it. The only times I've really tried it is like, I'm struggling with a thing. How can I like get just that little bit of help? And I'll like try to ask it different questions. And so far, nothing's come back where I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense. It's always like, I think I actually know a little bit more about this thing than what the answers are getting back. And then I just tell myself, oh, it's useless. Don't even try this.
Sure. Yeah, I've definitely done combinations of stuff. So it's like when I've tried to be brainstorming business name ideas, it's like come up with 50 iterations on a woodworking business with the words blank, blank, and blank. And then some of them make tons of sense. And then other ones are absolute trash because they're literally just coming up with different variations of the words. But it kind of helps for inspiration and stuff. But I've known that people use it, especially for social media. My wife sometimes does it for captions that she's working on sometimes just to get some more ideas. And I believe she said that it's always thrown in emojis. And I think the algorithm's really favoring emojis recently, like doing a couple emojis. So I was like, oh, I need to start doing that for our clips. And then totally spaced. I just remember that now that we're talking about it. But
definitely try it for this episode.
I mean, throw in a couple emojis, why not?
That's cool. Yeah. Have you thought about using it in any other ways, like for woodworking yet, or just kind of name creation, ideation?
So kind of like we talked about with the originality discussion a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
I really want to be the source of ideas sometimes, and I
Mm.
want it to be something within me that like wants to build it. So it's hard to want to ask AI to design some crazy thing. I tried for a couple times a few months ago, just like design a it was like a side table. Give me some dimensions that'll look good together and some like get some features, and like I was trying to ask it different things, and they were all very like it was you get a bunch of generic stuff back. So
Hmm.
and that's why people are so wowed by it because it's appealing to it makes sense, and they're like, oh, this AI is giving me something that makes sense. Where sometimes I'm not looking for something that necessarily makes sense with design, or I'm trying to make something new, and it's a little harder to. I don't know what to ask it, so it's kind of a user issue too.
Yeah.
Um, but I've seen videos online where people will ask AI to make some crazy design of something, and they'll try to build it, make it in real life, and it there's a lot of problems that come with it too because it doesn't obey the laws of physics necessarily or
Right.
practicality. But
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Yeah, because it would be hard to use for design. Yeah, I was wondering if it would know like yeah the laws of gravity or like structurally sound or like is it just making shapes
mhm.
that aren't possible to make? But um, so okay, so you have some experience with like visual AI tools too, not just like ChatGPT.
Not really. I've just seen that in videos. I haven't
Okay.
actually used I don't even know what they're called, for the visual ones. I know I've got a buddy who's starting to release some stuff on Spotify, so he did his album art for with AI,
Okay.
and so he used some type of AI engine to do that, but I think the art you can make is pretty out there, and
Hmm.
it kind of it makes a lot of people nervous, especially creative types, on like the value that we have versus if right now information is priceless. Like you can get so much information just because of the internet, and so
Hmm.
quality work and like originality is kind of it has cost and price to it right now. Like it's worth something to people, but I'm scared that like with AI that it'll be just you can see anything at any time of any any imagination, and it's right there, and you don't have to create anything anymore because you can just think it and it's there too. So that's a little spooky. I don't know if
Yeah.
I like it that much.
So you're worried about it a little bit, just of like how it's gonna grow, or I mean, it's a hot topic right now, which is
Yeah.
funny.
I don't know that I'm worried. Like I think it's gonna play out the way it's gonna play out either way. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be too worried. Um, but there's this I still find value in human creation and like inspiration and like somebody taking the time to do something, and that's kind of what like the work we do rather than a robot making furniture. So like if you took it to its farthest end, you could have just a factory somewhere where AI is generating plans, robots are building furniture, robots are delivering furniture, and we put it in our house and we love it because it's a great design because AI knows what we want. And I don't want that, me personally. I want something that I worked on and took the time and I thought about and I had to struggle through, and there were challenges, and um, it's made for me specifically rather than like a generic, which they're going to
Mhm.
be able to end up doing, which is going to be scary if it goes to that full end
That
there.
that
But
would be yeah, that would be wild. Totally automated furniture design, plan, and building, all
mhm.
non-human. That would be wild.
Like, could you imagine if somehow they got your information from Instagram, like what you look at most for furniture, like what you pause the most, like your eye contact or whatever. Like they totally have that.
Mhm.
They build an AI to design furniture specific to you, and they have a big setup where they can make a ton of parts and build in bulk in automation. And there are people probably there managing the machines and everything, right? Maybe
Mhm.
at the
Maybe.
beginning. And then what if they could ship it directly to you? And so now it is custom to you, and it's what you like and want. I shouldn't be saying this on the podcast.
No.
I just trademarked that idea. Uh,
You should.
But that's like what we try to do on a scale that we can't even pull off because it's so automated and everything. So, and it's taking information that our customers don't even know about themselves. Like they can't tell us everything that we need to build the perfect piece. But
Right.
if depending on the access that AI would have to what our likes are, they could maybe get there at some point.
Right. Which, yeah, that's already happening just like with
Yeah.
ads and things. Yeah. So that's like the main use of a lot of that already in process AI is like, yeah, what's your recommended next thing to look at? So it's, yeah, Instagram's already doing it.
Right.
But, yes. So you're not worried about it. Are you worried about it outside of woodworking in like your engineering job? Do you think it like, and I don't really mean worried. I just mean like, how do you anticipate like the first thing that always comes to the conversation when anybody brings up AI is like, what about jobs? Like, is that going to be like taking
Mhm.
tons of human jobs? Or do you think that it's just going to be a tool?
I think it'll be a. I think we'll need to make it a tool.
Sure.
Otherwise, it is a worry about jobs. And if
Hmm.
people are pushing things too fast and too hard, I think there are going to be consequences, but I don't know what they are, and I have no control over what people do. Um, but I think there's definitely a case where it could heavily affect like the amount that people need to work, and it not that everybody wants to work, but I think if you don't work, you are less fulfilled as a person. I think humans are made to work too. Like we have something in us that we got to get something done to have some fulfillment in life. So work might change like what that is. And I don't think everybody could be an artist. And I don't think everybody could be a mechanic or, something, somebody, an assembler on a factory line. But there's levels to everything. So I think hopefully they make it a tool and we
Hmm.
just have to level up our knowledge and understanding of how to use tools that we don't have access to yet. But, you know, it could get weird. We could all be farmers, and then the AI just does all the hard stuff for us or something. That it
Yeah,
could
I mean,
get
there's a ton of like good upside opportunity that I see. Like, yeah, if we figure out, like you said, how to use it as a tool instead of just like the thing that the business creates or whatever. It's like if it
Mhm,
enhances what people are doing, yeah, it means that all of our lives could be easier, right? But yeah, we know that there are certain things in society that just are not going to let that necessarily happen the way that
mhm.
we all want it to. So then how do you figure out how to incorporate it in your own life if you even want to? But um yeah, man, it's such a fascinating topic. It goes so many different ways.
Yeah, I
um
like now I'm in the fear pit right now where I'm spiraling, and it's like if they make it too easy, then I mean, people are paid at the end of the day, people are paid for the money they bring in or resources that they bring in a certain way.
mhm,
In some
mhm,
fields, it's a little different the way you have to look at the money because sometimes it's a service or but you provide something that brings in something else, and then that's why you're compensated for that. So whether that is money or whether that's food or whether like there are different benefits to doing different things. So if AI replaces a bunch of the ways that we can actually bring in money or produce resources or do anything, and we're less productive as individuals, we will be compensated less, and then we'll be less independent, and we'll have to rely more on a overarching. I don't want to say the word government, but overarching something to give us resources because we can't produce them ourselves or produce something else that we could trade for those resources because they're all being taken for that. So I want to, at the end of the day, I want to build furniture and trade them for monetary resources. That's what I would like to do with my life.
mhm.
But if that's taken out of scope or I can't do that because furniture is everywhere and it's exactly how people want it and now my resources aren't valuable and I have to rely more on being given resources. So it's a little
Right.
spooky, but I think overall if we can control the way that we go down the path, we could make tools instead of I don't know,
Yeah.
dystopian future.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's funny to see how like, because there's going to be a balance, right? If I mean, whether it's AI or robots or whatever that starts taking up some of the things that we're already doing, like you said, that takes away human opportunity to add value to products that get sold. But that doesn't, the only way that that actually takes away from us is if we're still like prioritizing as like a bigger population that like, yeah, it depends on how we're allowing that technology to be used. Because if that's going to continue to like widen the wage gap, like then
Sure.
it's not being used responsibly. But if it's
Exactly.
used
That's
to
exactly what I'm saying.
narrow, yeah, and if it's used to like, there's so much potential for it to be used to narrow it, or like if there's less human energy that's needed for things, now more people can be financially supported. But who knows how it's gonna how that's gonna shake down.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
And
thing that I worry about.
I don't want to get tinfoil hat or anything crazy here, but like you're saying, like the wage gap, it's like the people who get to make the decisions on how the AI is implemented and developed are on
Mhm.
the beneficial end of that wage gap, to where
Right.
depending on their values, they might not care what happens to the other side of the wage gap. So yeah,
Right.
it's just a weird thing that's just developing at the speed of light right now. It's just it blowing up,
It's
and
going fast.
people care but don't care. And well, that's very interesting watching people. They freak out about it for a minute and then it's no big deal for the next, which is interesting too. But I think there's going to be value to, I think in the future, I don't know how soon, there will be value to something that is authentically made by someone, by a
Mhm.
person. Like undoubted, like you'd have to figure out how to prove that it is authentically made by a person with blood, sweat, and tears and everything. And so like I've toyed with the idea. It sounds so stupid, but like I've toyed with the idea, and this makes me sound like I'm terrified of AI, but I'm not. It just feels like a, a business strategy if I were to make that a brand portion of it. Now I'm not saying I
Mhm.
want to do this. I've just had this idea, and I don't think it's the right path for me, but just like no AI, no computers. We're doing this the old fashioned way, and we're sketching stuff out, making print drawings, and we're building with real machines and real tools. And that's like guaranteed, and it's like a stamp of approval. It's authentic. It's like, I think romantically in the future that could have some value. That could be part of a something people believe in, where it's like, yeah, this is somebody who actually like worked on this for me. Um, but I don't know that right now would be the time to go for that. And I don't know that I'd be the best at not using CAD because I like using CAD and everything. But it
Yeah.
was just kind of a, everybody's going left. I want to go right here. Like maybe that's a good jump to make with the business here. But
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
I mean,
I'm not pursuing that, but there's an idea.
it's a thing that's out there. I mean, it's available and you might as well dabble. And, I'm a naturally curious person. So I think after having this conversation, wherever it goes today, and I'm excited to see where else it goes, I'm going to have to try it out and just see how, you know, realistically you could use it in some way if it's going to take some effort away from what we're trying to accomplish. Um,
Hmm.
what was it? I was going to say the thought of, oh man, I totally got lost. I'm sorry there. I was building up something.
Okay, I've got something we could try if you want to move on for a sec. Do
Sure.
you What would be something in your business that you might not have full idea on how to, well, this might not be the best way to phrase it. I was thinking like we could live try some chat GPT, and that might not be the best AI to use or anything. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about, but this on the computer here, it says chat GPT 3.5. I, I'd be curious if we put in some basic parameters for your gaming table
Mm-hmm.
or something and asked it to price that out. Or
Mm.
like what if it had an idea more of the average that we should be shooting for, or for me, design a or give me like descriptions for a basic hair salon workstation that I've been working on to take inspiration from. I don't know if there's anything that has been on your mind recently, um,
To
that we could
check.
ask it, but we don't have to
Yeah.
live either.
I think it would be funny. Yeah, let's try it.
Okay.
I'll
What do you
actually
want to
get
go for?
mine. Do like a organic fancy bookshelf. See if anything can come up.
Okay. So what are we looking for here? Price,
I want to see if
design,
it could,
shape.
yeah, design and shape, and see if I don't know if it would be like maybe it could come up with plans, like a step by step. How would you go about making the parts so that you can assemble it? I have no
Hmm.
idea.
I don't know if that's at reach with ChatGPT at least. I'm gonna try this. Okay, for the art ones and any of the actual photo ones, I'm gonna have to do this offline just because I don't have logins for any of those things. So that's the other
Sure.
thing. What happens when they start making you pay for everything and you're subscribed to all these things and you need them because that's the only way they're so cool, they keep your attention, they show you exactly what you want to see. Like that's the ultimate streaming service in the future. You hop in VR and it shows you exactly what you want to see. This isn't furniture related at all, but I'm
No,
still I'm still in it.
that's where I was going. That's where I got lost. Was like, so what are the like the things that will remain human, right? Like
Mm,
that AI won't be able to touch, and like I find it super interesting. Like, obviously, we talk a lot about like emotionality and like vulnerability and stuff on this, but like that's going to be difficult. Like reading people, like having a face to face relationship inside of the workplace, like that's not going to be able to be overcome by AI. I don't think very quickly. But then
mm,
the other thing that I often think about, but I haven't really articulated when people are having the AI conversation is like, if I'm now using this tool all the time to like fill in the perceived gap, so I'm like saving effort or whatever that is, if I get
mhm.
reliant on that, am I over time like making my ability to like learn and consolidate and lots of information, am I like removing the associativity in my brain, to
Sure.
some degree? And like, does that does people who get really reliant on AI actually not like inhibit their like future career growth? And I'm curious, like
Hmm.
what that's just kind of the way it works in my brain. I'm like, I think that it's not going to be as big of a threat as people worry about. It's going to be more of that. It's going to have to be more of that tool.
Yeah.
But I think we're okay. Like, there's a lot of human stuff that's not going to be able to.
We always try to pull everything to our own interest as a species, right?
Mhm,
So in general, I think we're gonna dial it so that humans don't get like we're not gonna try to design ourselves out of existence because every every human year we just iterate designs to make things better. And
mhm,
that's what we always try to do. Things get worse too, but it we always try to make it better for ourselves. It's like us selfishly just constantly innovating here. But
mhm,
I like what you said about what I thought of is basically turning your brain to goo by not making associations and struggling through things. And I was thinking back to college actually, and sophomore year I was introduced to Chegg. If you haven't heard of Chegg, you don't know what
mm-mm.
Chegg is?
No, what's up?
No way.
Am
This
I
is
old?
wild. Okay. What year did you graduate college?
2014.
Okay. Thank you. So Chegg is Chegg for all you students out there. It's a site online that you can ask it any question. It's not AI or anything, and they have answers. So if it's a textbook question, a test question,
Mm,
anything, 90% of the time it's on Chegg, and it costs like when I was in college, it cost like $12 a month. I never paid for it because I'm not a cheater, but I've used my roommates before. And you can find any homework problem, and it has like a detailed step by step. Like somebody does a write out, like it. We're both engineers. They do full write outs. Problem 4.1, and does
so you
like
can
A, B,
follow it.
C, D, E, and you can see every step. And then, so I would use that a lot of times to teach myself. A lot of people did that because they weren't reading the textbook. They just go to Chegg every time.
Sure.
But when you do that enough, you get real sick of homework, and then you just skip to the bottom, and then you can fill in the rest to make it look like you did the work, and you get to the bottom answer, you're done, move on. So luckily I didn't get caught in that trap very much. I used Chegg a little bit for sophomore year. Hopefully nobody in the college that I went to is going to rat out on me for that. But never on tests or anything. I've seen people taking pictures of tests live in a test, posting it on Chegg, getting answers mid test, and filling them out.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
how popular the site is. So anyway, as I did that, I lost my ability to do the problems because
Sure.
I wasn't working through them and struggling through them. And that's the worst part of homework. But that's literally how you know everything you know is by struggling through something. If
Right.
if things are super easy, you'll forget them every time. So I think with AI, depending on all the different avenues that it goes into, if we make furniture design super easy, I don't think we're going to be able to do it as well. If we have it give us marketing ideas, I don't think we're going to be able to come up with new marketing ideas. I think we're
Hmm.
be so reliant on it to come up with the ideas and develop them and actually implement them that it's going to be running more than we want it to because we lost the ability in the first place. So because I definitely got to the point with Chegg where it's like I can't even figure this out. I have to use Chegg, and then I had to diligently backtrack and actually teach myself.
Hmm.
It was a kind of a U curve where it's like I was teaching myself with it, and then I was cheating with it, and then I was teaching myself with it, right? So
Yeah.
I think with AI, like if we let it do everything for us, we're gonna lose that ability. And my main passion with furniture making is coming up with that idea and
Mhm.
building it and then seeing it. And that moment of
Right.
just seeing your idea that you had in your mind and you could picture it. It's your mind's eye. And if AI is giving that to you, now I haven't done this, so I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna have as much of that satisfaction if I were to do that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, what if it was like a really, really cool design that like you were like, I love this, and I asked
Mhm.
it, a bunch of questions to finally get to this place, and then you found a way to build that that's still gonna be somewhat less exciting for you. I think that's true for me too. Um,
I think it depends on the amount of work you put into it. So there you said if you asked it a ton of questions and if you're really refining it, maybe
mhm.
that's still gonna help give you that satisfaction after. But if you're like design a crazy bed frame and then it puts a picture up and then you just build that, I don't think you're gonna have the same kind of satisfaction as the toil of actually working through that design.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even in that case, if it presents you with a design and you learn how to build that thing, yeah, it still feels like you got cheated of some learning, I think
Mhm,
is how I
mhm,
know I would feel. But yeah, I was thinking about AI in terms of like you were talking last time about you focus on the stance of the design. And I was like, that'd be
mhm.
like a really good way to use AI is just like, all right, here's this idea. I want to see it across the room. And then maybe you start your ideation
Mm,
and maybe not use the AI to like refine it, but like at least like get that
helps your
first
decision
initial
making.
idea. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that's a
good point.
potential way to use it.
Hmm. I feel like you'd have to put in a lot of detail to get the stance that you're even picturing, just to reflect on the stance. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
my mind goes to just model it, but not everybody has that kind of experience with CAD they need to use AI maybe to take that shortcut and then see it first and then go do the CAD work later. But that's a
Mhm.
good point too. I think the biggest benefit for me would be marketing ideas because I'm
Yeah.
clearly not hitting the head on that one. I'm missing a lot on getting sales. So um, I think just getting ideas on how to post captions is a good idea because I don't it probably use it for stuff you don't care about, right? Like I don't really care what the caption is. I just want engagement. I care what the post has, like what the content is because I worked on that. But the caption is really meaningless to me at least if I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
use
it's
it.
just like I need to get photos out there of the things that I build and yeah, the
Right.
rest just get it out there. I think that's a good use for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, something I'll experiment with too. It's been a while since I've been on Instagram.
People are going to be seeing emojis in these clip captions here soon. So
Are there any other ways you could think of that you would be interesting to try for use it in woodworking?
I'm scared to do it, but I would like to see some logo ideas because I'm doing kind
Okay.
of a rebranding phase.
Yeah.
But I also similar to design, I kind of want that to be. within me and come about in
Yeah.
an original way. Um, I don't know. I think a lot about AI, but I also don't use it. So I think just trying to use it, but not give it a big weight, not give it a huge responsibility would be great. So I think just like doing it with captions,
Hmm.
and then trying to figure out how to maybe name some stuff like either furniture pieces or just like I want everything that other people see to be very familiar and approachable to them. And I'm only myself, right? So then you feel like you have to workshop it with people. But with
Hmm.
AI, it has access to so much information. It's almost already been workshopped in a way.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't
So it
know.
feels inauthentic, or yeah. I mean, I think it does feel like it cheapens what the you're working on, depending on what it is. Yeah, in woodworking, it just I don't know. I'm interested to see if it could like because I one thing that I am struggling to get started on, and I know I said I was going to be working on it during this break and try to get it
Hmm.
done, but was plans for the table, and so like got
You're
some
almost
stuff.
done.
Definitely not, but
Okay.
I wonder if that could be some kind of shortcut there. I'm gonna
Mm.
definitely gonna try it, put in what I have. Maybe it can. I don't know if you can like feed it pictures, but then maybe it'll. I don't
I
know.
wish I had
So
answers for you.
I
I
know
we're really not the best
we're
people to be
clearly the
having this
experts on
conversation.
this.
No, but it's interesting too because we're on the outside looking in, and we haven't tried it
Mhm.
all too. So like this is the for anybody listening, this is the probably the opinion of the average person. I feel like I have an average
Sure.
person's exposure to AI. Like I've
Yeah.
used it, but not a lot for my business or for functional stuff. It's been for write me a poem in Shakespeare's voice, whatever. Uh, but it's it's almost the path that I don't want to go down. And I really keep coming back to that part where it's like, should that be part of my brand? Where it's like, no, we care about people and we care about community and family and like real people made this and they struggled and they toiled with it and this is for you. Like I some
Mhm.
about that feels authentic and good to me. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm not gonna say absolutely no computers, but it's kind of a way that you would go about just hammering that in. Just nope, we're not doing that. It's the old way, which is inefficient and not as new. But I
Yeah.
kind of like that in the back of my head.
In like 50 years, do you think like a handmade piece of furniture is one that like is mostly just CNC and not AI'd?
That is a brilliant question. Will there be hand planes in 50 years?
It'll still be hand planes, but
Yeah,
I wonder
that's
how.
Stanley. That Stanley is not going away. Yeah, I don't know. I think the old ways are always going to push themselves. Like people are still out there shooting recurve bows in the woods at
Mhm.
rabbits, right? Like it still happens.
Yeah, there's an
Um,
appreciation when you do it the way that it
yeah,
was done before new technology existed. Yeah.
yeah. It feels good in a certain way where it's just work but it's so simple too. And it probably feels right because it's not as cloudy. And I think AI is just going to give us so many more things to look at when we already have too many things on our mind. So that part is probably the most scary. Not even the jobs part or any of that. It's just like the attention stuff,
How
and
it's going
that's
to
a
affect
whole nother
attention span.
conversation. But or just emotional, like we're all gonna trying to be living in another planet. Basically, we're all trying to escape reality because there's so much we have access to online or in VR or whatever it is. I
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing, but that's a
It's
worry.
yeah, it's funny. It comes up and like it's relevant to you and I too, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the culture is pointing that way where it's like everything we do centers around a computer or a piece of technology or a screen. And
Mhm.
like, I mean, even us doing this right now, you're in your home, I'm in my home, we're remote having a conversation rather than getting
Yeah, we
together.
can't even have a podcast studio because this is easier.
Right. And so
Yeah.
it's just like it's the least resistance
Mhm.
directional path to take. And so yeah, it's just that is a big threat that AI could continue us maybe faster down that path where yeah, we just start to not be good at human interaction in person.
I believe that for sure. That's now we got me in the scared
we
cave
got
over here.
we got to go back to positive things about AI.
It's all right. Is there any do you think furniture will ever incorporate AI in a way to
Hmm.
where I can't even picture how the technology will look, but you see a lot of furniture now taking in pieces of technology, whether that's lighting. Lighting is probably the easiest and least technological example, but people are doing lighting and everything. They've got wireless charging. They've got sometimes sound like audio type equipment, or what else is there? There's lighting,
Yeah,
sound.
I've seen this on, I don't know if it was on Reddit or Instagram or where I saw it, but I saw this really cool like um, computer desk where he had like windows and he built the computer, his PC, custom PC inside of the desk, and so it was like lit
Oh,
up and had cool cooling and all that kind of stuff. Yes,
so the
so
desk is the computer.
the desk is also the computer, but it's
That
the computer
is very
desk.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that those kinds of projects excite me. Um, but yeah, sorry to just go off.
No, that's exactly the topic though. Like, is
Mhm.
what else might come? What are we not looking forward to? Like, what could we possibly incorporate that we're not thinking of? Because all my brain can think of is lighting. I'm just
Lighting.
I gotta get some lighting in there. What else is there?
Yeah, I mean, I did my linear actuators in the table, and that was
Mhm.
really cool. I'd really love to keep experimenting with um, moving furniture, transforming furniture, and see if it can be
Mm.
multi-use. I mean, there's a lot of like folding stuff out there already, but not. I haven't seen very much with like
Powered.
motors. Yeah,
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if there's a. I'm thinking of a. How can you mix AI with a desk now that you brought up the computer? It's like you're doing work. I don't know, and those are all your tools, and it knows exactly what you need to be doing at the time. Maybe I don't know how that would be useful to us, but
Right. Yeah,
definitely.
it's a fascinating thing. I just picture, because we're talking about just screens everywhere. Like I wonder
Yeah.
if there's isn't going to be like I think it would be really cool. Now I'm just imagining. I do like drawing, and my wife does some painting, and so we've got this like drafting table angled desk upstairs.
Hmm.
I could picture like a screen kind of being part of that surface that would like actually notice your like drawing strokes and try to like
Mm.
help you along the way to try to like draw what you're trying to draw, or like give you like, have you ever seen a light table where you kind of
Yeah.
you trace a design? It would maybe be like that, where it's kind of like shining through and it's kind of like giving you some hints on how to draw the thing that you're trying to draw.
Mm.
That'd be cool.
And then you have a
um
video over here, and you have social media over there, and then you have like in the Apple goggles and everything.
yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, a bed that wakes you up at the perfect time because you're at the highest part of your sleep cycle, and it's within your alarm or whatever, and
There you go.
your alarm
That-
window. And
that's cool technology. I've got this app called Auto Sleep. I'm just going to do my
Mm,
recommendation right now.
do it.
So it's called Auto Sleep. It's got connected to my Apple Watch, and I can set a bunch of like time frames and say it keeps track of deep sleep, it keeps track of quality sleep, keeps track of your heart rate and everything. And so like it you can teach it to wake you up after you've had a certain amount of deep sleep and when you're not in a REM cycle, so you wake up the
Yeah,
most refreshed. But yeah, that'd be cool to incorporate that technology straight into
put it in
your
the
bed.
bed.
That would be
Have it throw
awesome.
you out of the bed when you're done. No. But I had a similar app. They had an app like that in probably 2014 even. They had something called Sleep Cycle Alarm Clock, and I
Hmm.
used that for a while, and I was one of the earlier users when it was free, and then they made you pay for it or whatever. So I think I still have it free, but I stopped using it because my it goes off either vibration or sound. So you can put it on your bed, and then it can use the phone to know when it's moving, or can use the microphone. But
Hmm.
my wife is right there, so then it might pick up her noise and then not know when I'm in my. It might still work, it probably does, but I just haven't been using it. And the dog is right on the floor. That thing's probably going to throw off the sleep cycle. It's going to wake me up at 2 in the morning. But I liked that app back in high school. I was using it. So
Yeah, it's good to know how you're sleeping. Trying to think, yeah, what else? What other technology and furniture? Yeah, it's
I just feel like something's gonna come where we're missing out by not thinking of it right now, right? So it's like if
mhm,
you could think of a piece of furniture that needs a certain technology, go make it, and then it'll be the new thing, right? Uh,
sure.
but
Yeah, I mean, people are obsessed with like cord management and like, yeah, desks just got that written all over it of
mhm.
ideas and things to add to that. But yeah, I'm kind of getting stuck with you. Like lights just seem like that's people like
Okay,
the
I just thought of something.
environment.
I think I think VR stations might
VR
be
stations.
some new
Hmm.
furniture that everyone has in the future, either standing or sitting.
Sure.
Like redefine the chair because you want to be comfortable, and maybe you're in VR and you're hanging out with your friends or you're doing something. But maybe it's not just a chair because you need to have more awareness of the surroundings. But maybe they'll design the problem is if they design VR so well that it works with all of our current furniture and surroundings, then it's a moot point.
Yeah.
But theoretically, there could be an optimal VR station that you operate VR in where you're the most comfortable and safe and you're not going to run into stuff and you're not going to um,
Hmm.
I don't have any ideas on how that would look right now, but that might be something that
Yeah, I'm
could.
picturing too, like, yeah, because then if you had, it'd be kind of like a mix between like VR and AR, right?
Yep.
Augmented reality, and so you could like actually have surfaces that you interact with, yeah, with the piece of furniture, so it
So you have that
recognizes.
tangible thing too, because
Hmm.
I've seen with the Apple goggles and everything, people are like making the motions in the air and everything to move through the screens, but maybe some type of tactile surfaces where you put your screens almost like dual monitors, but they're just pieces of wood at the end of the day,
Yeah,
or
or not even wood, but like your desk is here and you've
glass
got
or
your
something.
screens up there.
Depends on how you control it, right? But 'cause that tactile feeling might be useful. So how it'd be interesting. I feel like that's a good idea. I shouldn't have shared it.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's a lot of places you could go with that one, and I think that might be something that people are selling in the future.
Yeah, I also think about like we're kind of in a time where there's a lot of different like technology and like different like I don't know Funko Pop dolls are jumping into my head. Like we do a lot of like decoration with the things that we like, and we like to display our fancier versions of the pop culture stuff that we have.
So
Um,
what dolls did you mention? Sorry,
Funko Pop. Have you seen those? They're like
I gotta
the
be honest. I don't know what that is.
man. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up real quick.
Bring it up.
Yeah, it's just like cute big eyes, flat mouth. The faces all look the same, but it's usually like anime characters or cartoon characters.
Okay.
Um,
And so people
and
have
they
physical like figurines displayed in their homes and stuff.
yeah, in
So
their houses. Yeah. So
okay,
have you seen? So it's just got like the
Funko Pop. Okay, I've seen that dude before. Yeah,
yeah. So they've got like one for
that's kind of
everything.
like you almost with although that's a goatee, not a beard.
The Jesus.
Sure, sure.
Sure.
Little long hair, There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a technology in like art furniture. I was just picturing like I see a lot more and more like shelves or like units where it's built to specifically display a certain item, and
Mm.
like so you could have different lighting around those different places. That seems to be um, it's gaining in popularity. Whereas like when I was growing, in the '90s, when like most people's houses were decorated, like you'd have your pieces of furniture and then just whatever decorations you had in the house, you'd kind of throw it away. There was some intentionality about it,
Yep.
but I'm seeing more and more living spaces that are like the intentionality is around the decoration first, and then everything
Sure.
else gets filled in. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of opportunity for cool furniture that way.
Yeah. Today on Instagram, I saw a wall of mugs. Just like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a huge cabinet and a ton of mugs. It was really aesthetic. Like it looked really good. I wish I could call out who made it, but
Was that the
um,
Anna Bailey art in
it
Duluth?
could have been. I don't remember what the post was. I'm flying through there trying to look at everything, but huge wall of mugs with, it was nice wood cabinets on there. Um,
Hmm.
but definitely the feature of the room, almost just some different mugs.
Sure.
I'm stuck on the VR station. If you can't
Yeah,
tell, like
I
my
can
brain is
tell.
still
Yeah,
doing like the,
you,
how
you
else
got
could we,
you got excited there, and you're just yeah. I see the wheels turning.
well, because it's got to be, if it's not like desks and gaming chairs and all this stuff was a thing, you know, 100 years ago, right? Nobody was making that for furniture, but then technology presented itself and then people made furniture to suit that technology. So it's like,
Hmm.
how do we, maybe the technology isn't in the furniture necessarily, like we kind of took that route for a minute. Maybe the technology best suits the user while they, or the furniture best suits the user while they use the technology. So
Sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to get there, and not like I need to invent the next big thing or anything, but it's just like trying to think of design trends and technology trends kind of keeps you ahead of the curve a little bit. But
Hmm.
yeah.
What about building furniture in virtual reality?
Oh gosh, how many
A
fingers are you gonna
woodworking
lose?
simulator.
I wonder if that would. What would
I think that,
AR? So if you, it would have to be AR, right? Like you can't do
yeah.
VR because I'm not trusting that. Like not by these saws or anything. But AR, like, would you wear those goggles or any type of future version where they're gonna make those super seamless? I bet. But in the wood shop, maybe you have your plans up on the side here, up on the
Mm,
wall,
mm,
and you can just, they're not dusty pieces of paper getting dirty on the, or your laptop sitting on the workbench.
sure.
Maybe it's on the wall and you can look over and see the plans, or you can,
Just
um,
a
for
screen that kind
beginners,
of
you
like
could have an instructional video telling you what to do right here, and that you basically have a teacher on your shoulder working through with everything. Maybe that's how classes are taught in the future.
yeah. That's a cool idea. So I know at my old job we were talking about taking on some AR for like I'm not even talk too much about the company, but for like in store, and one of the ways that AR is already being used is I can't think of the car maker, but there's a car manufacturer that's like they only make 30 of this one single car, right? And so when you are an owner of that vehicle and you have a problem with it, you can't just like go to that manufacturer to get it fixed because you might live halfway across the world. They adopted AR for like mechanics purposes. So you can do
Mm,
exactly that. So like they'll go into a specialized shop that has the AR thing, and then they can talk to the person at the manufacturing facility and they can watch it together, and like the other guy instruct the other person using their hands telling them what to do.
yeah,
So that's a
that is really
super
cool.
cool opportunity. And you could do that in a wood shop too. And that would be a really
Hmm.
cool way to learn stuff.
We just got to get really experienced, set up classes, and then we will just sit on people's shoulders basically while they
Mhm.
woodwork in their own shops and hope everything goes well. I mean, that could be a teaching moment. That could be content too. People love live
Mhm.
streams. Like
Mhm.
you could be live streaming what you're doing in your own perspective,
Mhm.
and then people feel like they're in the shop too. Like if they don't have the resources to go out and get a bunch of tools, they could almost tune in. And I know there are all those YouTube videos out there of woodworking without any sound because people just, it's just soothing to just
Yeah.
watch somebody make furniture. So
I've
that
got
would be
one friend
another
in
version of
particular.
that content.
Yeah, I've got one friend in particular who would be all over that. He keeps asking, just put a camera up in your shop and just let it go for like 8 hours. I want to see what you do during the day. It's like,
Just a constant live stream of the shop. You could
yeah.
tune in. I mean, it might be worth it. But I bet they're gonna do that for content creators too, because content creating is
Mhm.
like what is hot right now. Like everybody's doing, we're doing it right now, and
Mhm.
so I they're going to get into that as well. So it's like the furniture um, media side of things is going to end up taking on those same new technologies.
So speaking of AI and technology, if there was one single thing that you wish it could do for you, no limitations, I'm just saying, what's the thing that you want off your plate that we could you could let technology or AI try to take care of? You
I
have
got it. You
anything?
ready?
Yeah.
Sales.
Sales. Okay, yeah.
If
But
AI could go get me 10 people that want an expensive cabinet and put the order in and we're good. I get the deposits and I build them tomorrow and the next day and the next day and I deliver them.
yeah,
I would love that. So I'm totally cool if AI wants to take care of that for me. But
yeah,
I think that won't happen. I don't think AI is meant to like pull people together at the root of it. I
mm,
think it's to give each person what they want, and that's going to separate people because people come together to get things from each other. But if you can get everything you want, you're gonna stick to yourself,
right.
and
Totally
that's
independent.
that's
Hmm.
the root worry here. So I think sales isn't gonna do well with AI. I don't know that. Maybe ads, like ads will go. You can make way better ads, um, but you're gonna have to pay for them, right? You're
Right.
gonna have to. So it's not like that's in my budget to pay for a bunch of ads to try to get traffic to get cabinets sold or tables sold. So yeah, but
Hmm.
if there was no limitations and AI could come up with a bunch of sales tomorrow, that's what I would do. What about you?
Sure. One thing that jumps to mind is like I like the patterns, obviously, and I like making them.
No way.
But if I could try to come up with when I'm thinking of the next thing that's like, how can I take this a degree further and like go a little bit more complicated? A lot of times will get stuck and I won't be able to like picture wood combinations. I think I'm going to try to use some visual AI just to be like, yeah, maybe it's a picture of here's what I've done. How do I take this to the next step? How do I make it just get some ideas of like, okay, that looks cool. I want to try making something like that. So I'd use it as that stepping stone to a new idea, but wouldn't actually try to copy what I come up with. I think, yeah, that's a really practical one that I could start now and just
Yeah.
try. Um,
Me
but in terms of
personally,
like, what's that?
sorry, I'm just gonna add on to that part about the patterns. I don't know how you want to make your patterns harder to make. I don't get it
You
personally.
don't get it?
Yeah, because the patterns are already so wild. I couldn't imagine making them. And you're like, how do I make this harder? Actually, but
Yeah.
I respect that.
So
That's pretty cool.
So one of the things I know that I'm going to try soon, and I don't care if anybody sees it because it's kind of like what you said. People are going to hear it and say, "I don't want to try that," but
Mhm.
I want to because I really like the chevron. Obviously, I want to make a chevron pattern that is the strips that are in a new chevron pattern. You know what I mean?
I don't.
It's hard to picture.
Can't
So
picture
like
it.
instead of so like if normally chevron, like I'll have, let's just say I've got walnut, maple walnut, and I'm cutting them at 45-degree angles.
Mhm.
Instead of maple, I want to have a chevron strip.
So it's Inception. It's
Yeah,
Chevronception.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that doesn't sound fun at all. I gotta tell you, it's worth a shot. You should do it.
oh, I'm gonna
I
be
don't want.
doing it.
What if you have you done any like round shapes at all in the?
I've done curves. I've done splines, and I really like those, and I really like combining that with geometric
Okay.
features. Um, but I yeah, I haven't got. I've kind of been stuck in those two places and just keep
Mhm.
doing those, and they're always beautiful and they're great. But I'm ready for the next new thing.
Yeah, it's hard to picture. AI, yeah, get some ideas. See what you can come
Yeah,
up with.
yeah.
Nice.
In
Is
terms
there?
of,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say in terms of like something that I would love to just like not have to worry about anymore. It's also yeah the marketing and the sales and just
Mhm.
trying to get a better just throw it over the fence, get more people to know what we're up to. But
Mhm. Yeah,
hmm
if I could post, and then there were 3 inquiries asking for the exact thing that I just posted about, and they
Yep.
sent the deposits that day, and that would be the best. And then I
Mm.
make those 3 and then build the next thing and then get 5 inquiries about the exact thing I just built. Like, that'd be sweet. That's a fantasy world. That's not going to happen. So we gotta learn how to do that work, do that marketing and sales ourselves. So that'll
Right.
be the hardest part for me, at least moving forward.
Yeah.
Definitely an engineer, not a marketing or sales guy, but that's how it goes.
Yep. So
Definitely
we'll,
more
we'll
audiobooks to be heard about those topics. What were you saying?
yeah, I was gonna say we'll be able to lean on each other as I mean, that's something that I think everybody struggles with to some degree, unless
Hmm.
that's like your career. But even then, yeah, it takes a while to learn. We can all lean on each other for that.
Hmm.
Um,
So,
what were
so
you?
you've incorporated lighting and linear actuators, so like movement,
Yep.
uh, electrical powered movement. Is there anything else that you want to like? What's next on the list? Is there anything else
Yeah.
that you want to incorporate in it? I'm focused on, for me, different materials. So I'm trying to I keep quoting with like glass, or I keep quoting with leather, or um,
Sure.
even like concrete, or like some type of different materials mixed in is kind of where I'm trying to go. Is there
Hmm.
any type of technology that you're trying to look for, or are the LEDs and the linear movement and wood is wood enough for you right now, or are you looking for more stuff to add in?
I think, yeah, I've been thinking about mixed media. I definitely want to get more metal in some of my stuff, and I
Mhm.
and I want to. We talked about it not too many episodes ago, where I think I'm going to experiment with paint too and see. Just, I mean, not paint a whole thing. It would be like
Okay.
a
Yep.
piece that's getting painted, like masked, and like just it's an accent. Um,
I'm
so
on board now.
yeah, yeah, it's a
I'm
little
not a
little
painter.
more little more subtle.
Yep.
Yeah, in terms of technology, uh, yeah, it's nice to have power, electricity in different places. Our living room is terrible in terms of like our cord management and
Mhm.
like because we've got watch chargers for our smartwatches, phone chargers, tablet charger, all this stuff, and it kind of just hangs out underneath the couch. So I really like to have power strips and things. I
Mhm.
haven't done it too often, other than shop furniture,
Sure.
but that'd be
Nice
fun
aesthetic
to,
ones.
yeah, aesthetic ones
Yeah.
that are like super convenient, and that's kind of um, I'm going to be looking into that a little bit as I do the living room furniture and figure out like where do I like to be, and what am I doing at times when I really don't want to get up right now and I just want to
Mm.
stay focused, and how can I increase the quality of life while I'm in that focus time.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know the technologies. Um, what about you? Is there anything that
I was hoping you'd have some great ideas. I really don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to put lighting in yet. So I
okay.
need to just start with the basics. I need some nice power strips, or not power strips, lighting strips.
Hmm.
Outlets would be great. Those workstations, the salon workstations, we're gonna have some power strips theoretically in them. Um, but yeah, I'm really focused on materials right now. Like
Hmm.
I like wood, obviously, and I don't want to become a fabricator. I've done welding before. My shop is not made for that where it is right now, so I don't
Hmm.
want to be doing some big metal bases or anything. But just trying to get different surfaces, glass, stone, fabric, leather,
Okay.
whatever, So trying to just the different feel that you get with those too. It just pulls the detail up, I think, in a subtle way where like you don't have to do a lot of work to get that detail in there. So
Yeah.
that's totally separate from technology, but that's kind of where I'm trying to get jobs to land with those aspects in them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll get a client who wants a nanny cam built into something, or
There you go. I'm never building a crib. I'll tell you that.
the
Never
crib.
gonna build it. No,
Not even for your
not
own future child someday.
no, no. I
Nope.
know I could. Like I could look up every spec. I could do it all, but I don't want that weight on my shoulders. So
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think the best business idea for woodworkers is to not build a crib. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like the best option. So Anything else popping out for you for
Uh,
about AI or technology? I mean,
Not
we
really.
were
Yeah, I
in the
just
fear
kind of.
pit, and then we got excited about stuff.
I think out of this, I know it is. I mean, this was a creative exercise just to like talk about what are the possible uses, and my curiosity is piqued, and I'm definitely
Mm,
gonna be trying it out more and see if there are things that I can do. So nothing else right now, but I'm just excited to look into it more.
sure. Yeah. And I'll keep you updated on if I throw my computer away. If I end up doing absolutely no computers, then I can't do the podcast, so that's a problem. But business design, building wise, I think that could be maybe not for me, but maybe for somebody's brand, maybe take that and run because I think in 20 years there's going to be value to something that was guaranteed made by someone real.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's about all I've got for you. I hope
cool.
everybody has a great week and everybody's shop magically gets cleaned because that's what I'm about to go do.
Have fun with that.
I
Well, oh
will.
yeah, and real quick, I recommended that auto sleep app. Do you have a recommendation
Yes.
today?
Yeah. Yeah. My recommendation for the week is ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is great for podcast intros and other resources, as mentioned in the podcast today. Not because I didn't prepare a recommendation, but just because
Perfect.
it's
Awesome.
relevant today. So I'll see you next week, Brian. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'd be having these conversations with or without you because we get a lot of value out of this and we learn and grow together, but we're glad that you're here as well.
Yes, please let us know what you think of the podcast by leaving a review or a rating, but also comment or share with your friends in the woodworking or small business community. I'm Matt from Whiskey Woodshop.
And I'm Brian of Boss Man's Boutique.
Thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
listening.